What's up, BAT? This is another 916 video with the bodywork off. Sorry, I forgot to mention a few things the first time around. Here's the fuel tank again. The early fuel tanks are shaped slightly differently, and as such, the front of the tank can interfere with the steering dampener when it's mounted on the bike. So on this bike, someone had the foresight to put the clear paint protection here and here 10,000 years ago, and I left it so the dampener does contact the tank, as you can tell right there and right there, but it hasn't rubbed paint off because it's had that clear stuff ever since. As we look underneath the tank here, you can see the fuel flange is just beautiful. I did pop it off to have a peek. It was all beautiful in there. And the steel bushing spacer thing is also not missing. Yeah, it's real nice under here. In the other video, I forgot to mention one of the few modifications to this bike is the braided hydraulic hoses for the front brake, the rear brake, and the clutch. You can see with the front hose, they went to the exact same style as comes stock. In other words, one right hose with a left hose that splits off of it instead of two longer hoses, which is much nicer. The braided clutch line, if we're being picky, it's slightly too long in my opinion, but it tucks away all nice, works fine. There's the rear braided line, and since the last video, I have replaced the upper and lower swing arm protectors, the chain protectors. These just wear out and get brittle just from time. So it's got a new one on the top and the bottom now. And here are the original, I believe that's the clutch, front brake, rear brake, rubber hoses. A couple more things to show you. On the other side, maybe some more detail on the cracks in the airbox. So these are the forward mounts. There's 6 Allen head bolts, shouldered bolts that hold this airbox to the bike. And the forward 2 have a rubber head built into it that the fuel tank rests against. And here's the broken, cracked one in the right front. And there it is. It doesn't impact the way the airbox mounts up at all. It's on there solid. You don't see it when the tank's on there, but again, it's just unfortunate. This is the type of bolt that holds the airbox. It's got a shoulder on it, so you can just snug it up, and in theory, it doesn't put any stress on the plastic. This one goes right here. In there somehow. Here is the crack side. You can see the crack. I've got my wrench in there, so you can see the crack now. It's loose. I'm gonna give it a little snug. You can see the crack. And really, again, this just has more to do with Ducati not doing very well with their quality control of their parts in 1996 and 95 and 94. There you go. I didn't really touch about this relay area. There's that monster Yuasa battery that I'm a big fan of. So I've got this one relay missing, or out, right here. And what this is this is the fan control relay. Strangely enough, later years, they use the exact same relay as a fuel pump relay on 999, 749, Multistrada, etc. And what I've found is the Bosch relay or other brand that comes on this bike, sometimes it can get corrosion inside, or it's just not made very well. And since I don't know, I'm kind of a geek, so I cross-referenced this number years ago, And this is a Nissan part that comes in a little bag from Nissan. It says made in Japan. And so, as you can see, it's a much more of a sealed unit. So I put these on any 916, 748 that I get, including this one. So this is a new unit, new made in Japan one. There's some pictures in the gallery. Let's see if I can put it together with one hand. For I am not left-handed. It's just pops in there. Whoever had the idea to put all these relays in an area where the oil goes, I'll never know. This relay is the turn signal relay, just old-fashioned 3-prong thing. And on this bike, I thought something was wrong with it. So I took it apart, fiddled with it. I realized there was nothing wrong with it, and then I didn't like the way it went back together very well. So I got a new old stock unit. And actually, here's the box. The new one came in. If you don't believe me, that's it. Anyway, yeah, that's the relay story. There's the battery. I've got this 19-pin mil-spec connector taken apart. This is usually a big problem area. Corrosion builds up on these pins and you get ground issues and power supply issues. I've got it taken apart here so you can see this one is just absolutely immaculate. There are no issues. I think that about sums it up, guys. The next video will be with the bodywork back on, and we'll fire it up. Thanks a lot.